Investigations, alerts, breaking news.
One of the original Bash brothers taking his hacks before the Blaze baseball game tonight. What Jose Canseco aims to accomplish in front of local fans.
Negotiating teams getting set to meet once again as they look to end the Get Bus strike. What's now being put back on the table to get workers back to work.
And House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy live in studio to speak with us on a variety of topics, including immigration reform. What he has to say coming up.
Broadcasting live in high definition. This is KBAK Eyewitness News at 6.
One of Major League Baseball's all-time home run leaders is right here in Bakersfield tonight.
The original Bash brother Jose Canseco is at Sam Lynn Ballpark for his 14th stop along his 17-city home run tour. Mike Deneau is live at the stadium with the story. Mike?
Guys, Blaze play later on today, but the big buzz around here is about this guy, my smaller, skinnier brother, Jose Canseco. How you doing, sir?
You look like me when you were in the minor leagues, and I'm on the major league version.
Brother, what are you doing here in town?
Well, this part of the tour, my super agent, Jose Melendez, put together, and how it came about was, I turned 50 years old. He says, why don't we do some type of tour where either you hit softballs, baseballs, or both at the same time, and let's see what the interest is. And I said, really? That would be kind of fascinating if someone would want me to come out here 50 years old and hit some balls. And he made a bunch of phone calls. He got a lot of interest. And then I said, well, how are we going to get around? And he said, well, I want to buy a 40-foot RV. And we're going to go in there to the smaller cities, some of the actual towns that you played in before. And we're going to do a tour and do that. I go, wow. Okay, so he gets his RV. We have the schedule. Now we're stuck in this RV at 1.26 hours. And I'm like, oh, my God, what did I get myself into? But I'll tell you what, a lot of memories came back of a lot of the fields I played in, a lot of the towns and cities I actually played in. And the reception has been great, and I've been lucky enough to be able to hit some baseballs and softballs a long way and put on a show.
6-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champ. You played in baseball for about 16 years. Is that accurate?
17.
17 years. I was off a year. I apologize. Okay, it's a 17-city stop. This is the 14th place.
This is number 14, I think. I've lost track. I think we have 2 or 3 more. And as we're doing cities, though, the interest is growing more and more and more. So I think next year it's going to turn into a 30 or 40 city stop. And we got to figure out the RV situation. So it'll be a lot of fun.
It's all for a good cause, though, right?
It's all for a great cause. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of charities. I get to stay young out here. I get to see the ballparks again, talk to some of the players, help them out with some power heating lessons if they actually need it. And, a lot of great memories are coming back.
But there's actually some competition on the line. I read that you're trying to break the furthest home run mark, baseball, and the furthest home run mark with a softball. Is that accurate?
Yeah, but I think they forgot the part for a 50-year-old. So the furthest home run mark for baseball for 50 and over, and furthest home run for baseball for 50 and over.
All right.
We're just trying to have a lot of fun out here.
Brian, take a look at the fence. How far are you going to hit one tonight?
Well, if the wind stops and starts blowing out, I might be able to reach those lights. See what happens.
And who are you competing against?
I have no idea. They won't even tell me. It could be some champions out there. It could be some fans. Usually a combination of both. It's just a mixture of everything.
Okay. He hasn't taken one swing, but he said he'll take his first swing for us right now. All right. Mr. Canseco, you better not whiff on this ball. Right into the sun. All right, you ready?
I'm not going to see it.
Can you see right here?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. One more time, one more time, one more time, one more time, one more time.
That way I won't hit your camera.
Okay, you got it? There you go. All right, partner. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Good luck tonight, all right? All right, that's the latest from here. We will send it back to you.
All right.
Like to know
Mike.
Eyewitness News.
Nice pitch,
I was
Mike.
hoping for you to swing the bat a little bit, huh? No comment says it all there from Mr. Deneau. All right. More news now. A Bakersfield man calls our tip line saying he's been having trouble reaching Cal Water about a big leak on his street. Eyewitness News reporter Jonathan Gonzalez met with him and has more.
Just come fix the damn thing.
Sometimes the biggest problems
I pay my dues every month. It's very frustrating.
start from something small.
This is a major leak. It's not something tiny.
Last week, Jose Lasea noticed a small leak flowing out of his front yard.
I started to dig it out, and I said, wait a minute, that's not my, it's from there to there.
Soon, it was flowing by the gallon.
I'll say 500, not more.
But over the last few days,
The last few days, thousands.
Jose says leaks have been a problem on Cecil Bruner Drive for months.
Algae, water running from that water meter all the way to the street. And then when this started happening, now I got another water leak there.
And he claims he's had no luck with his water company.
And I'm not the only one that's called. These people moved out last week. They called, and nothing's been done.
So Eyewitness News called Cal Water.
It happens. If, you know, we don't like it to happen, but yeah, it does happen.
And they came out the next day to fix the problem.
We appreciate our customers letting us know when they see situations like this. If they call us, we will definitely respond, come out, take a look at it.
The leak sprung from a 6-inch water main decades old. Considering the drought, Cal Water wants you to report even the smallest leak.
Sometimes it takes us a little bit of time to get to everything, but it is a priority.
That way, the smallest leaks won't turn into big problems. In central Bakersfield, I'm Jonathan Gonzalez, Eyewitness News.
And as a reminder, if you have a story you'd like for us to investigate, like this one, just call our tip line 24/7 at 869-2929.
Negotiating teams for the union bus drivers and GET will meet again tomorrow. Eyewitness News reporter Carol Ferguson joins us live from GET headquarters with the very latest. Carol?
Well, the striking bus workers have gone right now. They had been out here earlier today picketing. Today starts the beginning of week number 4 for this strike, and today GET said they want to get back to the table in hopes of ending the walkout. Some 250 bus drivers, mechanics, and other workers went on strike July 15, first asking for a 4% pay raise for each of 3 years and then proposing a 3% pay hike. GET has said no, telling us their funding is uncertain and they cannot spend more than they have. Each side says they worry about the riders with no transportation now. GET says some 20,000 people a day use the buses. GET now says they are offering the workers a 2-year extension of their current contract with a 2% raise this year and 2.5% in 2015. Now, they say that's an offer they've made before, which was turned down by the union. We asked GET why they're asking for more talks now and why they're making the offer public.
Initially, our team had signed an agreement that they would not negotiate in public. That seems to be happening, and there seems to be a lot of misinformation, and so we felt it was time to publicly talk about what we're offering.
At that point, that was nothing we was interested in at that time, but we will sit down with them tomorrow and see if we can come up with some type of deal.
Now, tomorrow morning, it is the negotiating teams from GET and the negotiating team from the union. They will meet together starting at 9, and of course, we'll let you know what happens. We're live at the GET headquarters. Back to you.
Carol Ferguson, thank you.
It's 95 degrees outside now, plenty of sunshine, and the humidity is down a little bit, 22% right now, with good air quality and winds out of the north at 16 miles per hour. Temperatures in the 90s, as you can see across the region, 70s in the mountains, and 87 degrees at Lake Isabella. Low pressure way off to the north. It'll stay up there. That's where the rain's going to be for us. It'll just be clear tonight. Temperatures will be in the 90s next several hours. Will drop to 69 first thing in the morning, and in the Kern County Mountains, 80 degrees this evening, nice, and then down to 54 first thing tomorrow morning. Full forecast in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Thanks, Miles. Well, he's just a few days into taking on his new job as House Majority Leader.
Bakersfield Republican Kevin McCarthy is making the media rounds tonight while Congress is on its August recess, and we're so honored to have him live in studio right now. Welcome, Mr. McCarthy.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And let's get right into it, Congressman, about comprehensive immigration reform. Yes. Continues to be the elephant in the room, as they say. Both Republicans, Democrats agree. Of course, something needs to be done, but that's where the agreement essentially stops. Will you ever support a compromise in some form for a path to citizenship for those 11 million undocumented immigrants?
Well, the real challenge has always been, I've always said, you have to secure the border before you have any other discussion. And right now, we have a crisis on our border. And it stemmed from actions that the president had done. And that's why my first job as leader, I know some people in Congress booed me, but I wasn't going to let Congress go home without acting. So what we did is something very simple. We wanted to secure the border. So we changed the 2008 law that Feinstein had passed, that with the president changing with DACA, had moved all these children, 90,000 children, up through here. So everyone gets treated the same. You can unite them back with their family. The national monument, like the president just made a new national monument in New Mexico, but in there he wrote that the border patrol cannot use motorized vehicles. They have to go back to horses, so you could just watch people running through there. And then the National Guard. The state's governors can call up the National Guard to help secure it. And what's happening, here we are in August, these children are coming from 3 countries, but they're dying in the deserts. Human trafficking is happening to them, all because of the belief that the president said, if you come here, we'll make you a citizen. Well, that's not the case. So we have to secure the border before we have any other talk about immigration reform. And unfortunately, the Senate went home without acting. And our forefathers always said the House acts and the Senate acts. The Senate refuses the act. The president refuses to even visit the border. And we have a major crisis. And there are Democrats that are members of Congress now. They co-authored bills with Republicans because they see the crisis firsthand as well.
Do you think this is the best way to solve the crisis? I mean, what would have been your ultimate accomplishment as of last Friday?
Well, the first thing, yes. You've got to secure the border. You've got to tell these children. And I've met with the presidents of these 3 countries, and they want to unite their children back. They want to explain to them that, no, you don't pay $9,000 to these individuals who smuggling, they call coyotes, to move your children up there to become a citizen. That's not the case. And what's happening is these children are now being housed in Air Force bases all around the country. So what's going to happen come September? These are going to go into schools, others, but these kids are as young as 3 with no parents.
Right, but I mean, what would be your immediate solution? Would you like to work with these governments to send the kids back to where they belong?
First thing I'd like to do is work with the governments, which we have, explain in their own countries that no, this is not the case. If you want to become an American, we want you to become an American in a legal process.
But is it reasonable to deport all those kids, the 57,000 or whatever amount they are now, to go back to these countries, or 90,000?
Wouldn't you want to unite them back with their parents?
Is it really possible to do that, though?
Yes, the presidents even sit there and say they want it. But the problem was that with the 2008 law there, they can't be. So they're asking, could you get them back as fast as possible? Our bill allows that to happen. So within 72 hours, you can have those children go through the courts, be able to go back and be with their family. And that's what their presidents asked to have happen.
But how do you stop the flow from the cycle from starting over
again?
The
first thing that'll happen? The first time they see that airplane landing back home, they'll realize, I'm not going to spend $5,000 to $9,000 to send my child through the desert, even knowing whether they make it or not. That's not the case. That's not the truth. And you have to go through a legal system to become a citizen of America. That will stop the flow of the misinformation that's been out there. Right. And a lot of that is caused mainly by the action that the president made. You know, this law passed in 2008, but none of this took place until the president moved on his own executive order with DACA. And so now other countries thought that was going to happen, and it's not the case. It doesn't affect them either. And so they're coming here, spending all this money, some dying, and the case, we need to reunite them with their family as soon as possible.
Okay, and obviously that's a continuing issue. It's one that we've reported on and we will continue to stay on top of. And I'm sure it's not going away anytime soon for you. One last question. Lobbying efforts. I know that your party passed, actually Congress unanimously passed a bill 2 weeks ago to clarify these rules for keeping TV broadcasts like this one free for local viewers. Do you think enough was done with that bill that you passed?
Yeah, I felt there was a compromise. That bill actually passed on voice vote unanimously. There were concerns on both sides, but people came to agreement that they were able to allow it still free to be recovered. The National Broadcasters Association supported it as well. Some stations have wanted something a little more, but anything else, when you get to compromise, you don't get 100% of what you want, but I felt this was a very fair agreement in the end.
All right, Congressman McCarthy, thanks for joining us. And
thanks for having me.
Follow your efforts, and we'll see what happens with immigration as well.
Appreciate it.
Sure. Well, more news for you right now. The family of Berkeley football player Ted Agu officially filing a lawsuit against the University of California. The Frontier High grad died back in February during a practice. Attorneys spoke on behalf of Agu's family this morning outside an Oakland courthouse while their 3 siblings and Agu's parents watched on. Attorneys said Agu lost his life because of reckless and negligent behavior of football trainers and coaches. They said Ted and his family were let down by the Cal administration.
Like Florida, the trainer failed to intercede and stop the activity, even though it was known, just like in Florida, that this California athlete had sickle cell trait.
Cal's athletic department said it could not comment on the lawsuit at this time. A new phone app allows you to share your leftovers with others, why some people in the community say it may not be the best way to make sure food doesn't go to waste. And 2 buses crash in the middle of Times Square in New York, how a busy touristy street quickly turned into chaos in the Big Apple.